get my 6. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video from Homesteading Off the Grid. As you can see, I've treated myself to a new toy. This has been years in the coming. I hate to spend money on myself. I love to spend money on my wife. I love to spend money on my son, but I just don't like to spend money on myself. But alas, I kind of had to give up the ghost. Our 80 feet tall white pine here in the backyard had an unfortunate demise yesterday. It fell, and as you can see there, it crushed part of our garden fence. But you know what? It didn't land on any of the vegetables we already have planted. Now, I've been using, pulling 18 inchers for years, and I replace them every 3 years or so because it's not, whatever. I've been using I cut red oak logs like this with an 18-inch pulling because I know how to use a saw, and I don't mind hard work. I actually thrive on it. Saves me gym membership fees, but I was pushing the equipment farther than it was really designed to go. So now I don't have a box. This is an unboxing video, so I can't shoot the whole video right here. This is going to be done in multiple scenes. I've got to go get a box so I can unbox it, and I've got to change my clothes. I just got back from the Getting Place. I went down to the Getting Place to get a few things, tractor supplies. So we're just going to do the haul part of it now. I'm going to save the best for last, my new toy here. Listen, I had to get a new battery for my riding lawnmower. The battery, it wouldn't start a few days ago, and the battery is dead. I need a new battery, and my first thought was, mower won't start. Now I can justify getting a zero turn. But listen, I thought it through. I have a big place. I do a lot of mowing. If I ever just break down and buy a zero turn, it's completely, no justification necessary. I mow about 3 of our 6 acres. But I thought it through, man. It's like, do I take the $4,500 solution and buy a $4,500 zero turn? You can get one cheaper, I know, but or do I take the $45 solution and buy a new battery for the lawnmower that I have, a Troy built 17.5 horsepower pony, 7-speed that works perfectly fine and has done the job for the last 5 years, probably do the job for the next 5 or 10, maybe even 15, that I don't mind doing. It takes me 2 hours and 45 minutes total mowing time. So if I did get a zero turn, it would save me an hour. Man, how lazy do I want to be? I mean, I know a lot of folks don't have time to do it. This is where I work full time here from home. I have the time to do it. I enjoy doing it. And, I'm a writer, and I've gotten some of my best ideas while I've just been out here mowing, working with trees, messing with these chickens. What's up, chickens? Buck, buck. That's Mr. and Mrs. Backup. The ones you hear screaming way back there in the background, those are our primary chickens. But we thought they might die or something might kill them, so we got some backups. So it's Mr. Backup, Mrs. Backup. All right, so again, I'm going to go in and change clothes. I'm not even dressed appropriately to do this work, and I'm going to have to set the camera up from a different angle. But I want to show you these cans I got. Listen, I'm not a tree hugger, okay? I've planted thousands of trees on my property. I've planted fruit orchards. I've got fruit trees scattered around the whole place. I've planted really beautiful deciduous hardwood trees. I love these trees. And yeah, okay, probably in some of my videos you've seen me hugging some trees, but I'm not a tree hugger. You know exactly what I mean. But you know what? I'm not stupid and I'm not irresponsible. My old gas cans were starting to leak. Okay, I got new cans because, listen, this world isn't mine, and the time I'm here living on it is borrowed. I want to, I'm not, and this is my property. Why would I want gasoline going into my pond? I have a catfish in there named Big Cat. It's a very unique name, and he's as long as my leg, or she, it. Shut up, back up. Hold on. So I got this one to put the oil in the mix for my 2-stroke engines, and then I got this one filled with gas. No, I put the gas in it from a gas station. It didn't come with gas from Tractor Supply. These are a little pricey. I mean, this was $40. I've never done a haul video. I think you're supposed to say how much stuff costs. That can was 20. This was 40. That's pricey, but they have these really neat leak-free things. And the guy at the store told me he uses these, and what he loves about them is they're designed to where the front you can set up like that, and it works just like a gas station. You can put your equipment like right up underneath it. So isn't that neat? And it's leak-proof. All right. And before we get to this, one more thing. I went ahead and bought another chain in case I break the one on this, which I've been known to do. I hope not, because these chains are a lot more expensive than those 18-inch pulling chains. This was $23 for a 20-incher. Shut up, back up. Look at him down there. He's like, what, you want food or something? You've got 6 acres of it here. Go eat, brah. You know, I talk to myself sometimes because I get the answers I want to hear. And I was out here mentioning about how, you know, before I get into this, I want to eat one of these Red Delicious apples I have. I think he heard me and he wants it. You're not getting my Red Delicious apple back up. You can have the core when I'm finished, okay? Speaking of cores, I forgot to take my other battery down. I got to take that back, get my deposit back, but also make sure it's disposed of properly. Now, here we go. Here's the beast. I just got this for $399.99, $400. And guys, I'm not bragging about how much. I despise spending money. I like making it. I hate partying with it. And it's not that I'm tight. I'm thrifty. It's because I've spent many years in my life poor. Many of those years third world poor when I was down and out in the Philippines. During my down and out in the Philippines years, we couldn't eat. So I might have it today, money, but I know what it's like for it to be gone tomorrow. And so let's just say I've learned some lessons. But I finally, and my beautiful bride dearly, aka Giggly Girl, my wife has been telling me for the last couple of years, get a real chainsaw, she calls it. But I'm going to tell you what really, some people have gifted me some nice things lately. And I thought, if they've done that, now I have those things. Why not get this to go with it? But also, I get my firewood for free from a wonderful guy named Thomas Fant with Fant Tree Services, Thomas Fant Tree Services in Madison County, Virginia. We had some windstorms lately. If you suffered tree damage like this, but you're not still kind of young, healthy, fit, or you just don't like doing this kind of work, you don't have the equipment to do it, you don't know how to do it, call Thomas Fant Tree Services. But they bring me oak by the dump truck full, and some of that stuff is 40 inches around, and that little pulling just wasn't doing it. And I thought, well, I don't have enough of it left to really go out and spend $400 on a Husqvarna Farm Tough. This is the 455 Rancher. I said, if I went out and got this and I cut up the rest of that big oak I have, if Mr. Fant, if he doesn't bring me anymore, which, he's not under any obligation to do it. He does it when he gets trees in this area. It's a lot of money to spend that I might just use for a little bit of work. But then when this thing met its unfortunate demise yesterday, I kind of justified it a little bit. Talked to the wife, and she's like, honey, I don't know why you haven't gone out and bought that thing yet. Go get it. So here it is, brand spanking new, $400 from Tractor Supply. They have wonderful people working down there, very friendly. So I've got to go get dressed appropriately, and I've got to find a box because we cannot have an unboxing video if we don't have a box. I actually wanted to buy the 24-inch model. I went in there today prepared to do that. It was $530. I wanted that longer bar here to be able to get some of this thicker end of this big tree. It's a big tree. But they sold it just yesterday evening. So this was the next one down, $400, biggest one they have, but I know it'll do the job. I was cutting some wood with some guys last summer when a bunch of trees fell in our area, and he had a 24-incher, but he told me the best saw he had was this 20-incher, the 455 Rancher, and he actually preferred it over the 24-incher for some reason. I don't know why. So this is what we got. Let me put it right here. Get our hall display set up again here real nice. Isn't that nice? I got to get something to eat. Something a little bit more than just a Red Delicious apple. And I'm going to change my clothes. We're going to come out and we're going to test it. We're going to start it up. We're going to start going to work on this big white pine. See how it does. that I had that delicious red apple from Backup. He saw me coming out of the house with it. Guys, I'm gonna have to change the title of this video. I'm like so ready to go now. I've got on some wonderfully comfortable corduroy pants. I got my delicious red apple. But as you can see, I had a problem finding any box in which I could fit this saw because it's so big. I've even tried to use 2 boxes here, but it's still sticking out. So I'm constantly being accused of making fake videos on here. This would be hard to cover up. So I'm going to have to change the title, which I've done by now already, as you can tell, because earlier when I said it was going to be an unboxing, the Get in Place Tractor Supply Store haul, whatever. Obviously, that's not what the title says. It says, look what I finally broke down and got or bought or something. Now, that's not going to get enough clicks. I got to put a boom. Okay, boom! Look what I finally broke down and bought. Or should I say got? I don't know. Whatever it says is what I decided to go with. So, all right, that's as close as we're going to get to an unboxing because the boxes don't fit. Well, let me check on that chicken. So guys, I took the thing off. That chicken crowed just before I started recording again. He's getting closer. He's sneaky. Took this off. Word of caution, I almost cut myself on that thing. Wear gloves when you take those off. Listen, I put a gallon of gas in here, ethanol free. Oh gosh, there he is. Look. Hey, back up. What's up? All right, he can't see my apple from that angle. Listen, I need to mix this up. I was going to fuel up and everything, but I thought, I showed you these new cans, so I should include that in the video as well. Now listen, we need to mix this up. I put that oil, 2-stroke oil in here in the gas, so we've got to do it safely, okay? So I'm going to put on iPro. The thing is properly closed, but you never want to take a chance. Now, the best way to mix your fuels together is to simply dance with it. Okay, now, you've heard it said, dance like nobody's watching. I don't like that because that makes it sound as if you care if somebody's watching or not. So I have a saying that goes like this. Dance like you don't give a letter F if anybody's watching or not. Okay, there's more power in that. There's more freedom. That's positive freedom. Other people's views or opinions of you dancing doesn't matter. Okay, that was the other one. I was going to say, how can he be right here and sound so far away? That's like a wraith or a Wendigo. By the way, I hope you're getting my 6. All right, so we got to be safe because we're dealing with gasoline, which means in order to dance to shake this up, the best dance we can do, shut up, back up, is the safety dance. Okay, so just one verse, and let's do the bridge. No, the first part of the chorus, okay? This should have our fuel mixed. No, he can see my apple. We can dance if we want to. We can leave this world behind. And your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, then they're no friends of mine. Okay, so our fuel is now mixed, and we did it safely, evidenced by the fact that we did the safety dance like we didn't give a letter F if anybody was watching it or not. So, I already had some bar oil. This is pulling from my old saw, but this is bar and chain oil. Now, I used to cut a lot of firewood about 20 years ago with a gentleman who at that time was in his 70s and who could cut circles around me. And I was 47 now. I was 27. He was like literally like 50 years older than me. I could not keep up with him. So I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again as I very safely, we can dance if we want to, put the bar roll in here. Explain another theory of mine. That is that those who do can because they do. You remember the expression, those who can do, those who can't don't, and those who don't. Tell you, what was that? I can't remember. Something about, it was a way to take a knock at professors or whatever. But listen, that old man in his 70s could still get out here and cut circles around me because he did that regularly. Okay, those who can't, cannot because they don't. It's not about age. It's not about, now, of course, it's about fitness, which you've got to be active to be fit. And people have different disabilities or whatever. I'm not knocking that. But listen, there's no excuse for laziness. Don't try to say that you can't get out and do something that you could if you chose to simply because you're lazy and you're trying to justify it. My friend Andy, that was his name. I went by and saw him when I got back to the U.S. He's almost 90 and he's still out there cutting his own wood. That is a true story, and he can do it because he does. Okay? And I'm going to tell you my own story. You know what I did most of the last year or so? I was in the Philippines. Just going to be honest with you. I'm not proud of it, but I was making decent money by then. I was making enough money to come to the U.S., bring my family with me, which I did. But when it came to physical activity, I wasn't doing a lot of it because I was making decent money as a writer. And I just didn't have the wide open, clean spaces over there like I have here. So it was difficult. Like I would try. Like if I went out and jogged 3 days in a row, I would get sick because of the pollution. And this is not me being disrespectful toward the Philippines. This is just me being honest about the situation I was in there. So I could run for 2 days and take the third day off and I wouldn't get sick. But I tried over and over. If I ran for 3 days, I'd get sick because of the pollution. So anyway, I spent a lot of time sitting around on white sandy beaches, throwing back cold ones. I wasn't doing any sort of yard work, no physical activity aside from jogging, 2 out of 3 days to keep the belly off, from the cold ones. So when I got back to the U.S. and then a few months after that, we bought this place. I was like, man, I can't wait to go out and just do all the stuff I always loved doing when I lived in Virginia before, all those years ago before I left. And what I found that fall, I raked leaves for 10 minutes and I was so unaccustomed to doing any sort of manual labor. I had to stop and my forearms were so sore. It's like I was begging my wife to massage them, which she did willingly for days after that. I was embarrassed. And I was in that position, not because I was 20 years older than I was when I lived in Virginia last time and used to do this stuff. I was in that position because I had not been doing anything. And it took me 2 years to ease back into it. Just like, with running, I can go out and run for half an hour now, no problem. But when I got back into that, it took a while to build up to that. But I can come out here now. I can mow grass. I can weed eat. I can cut wood. I can split wood with my axe, even though I've got that new log splitter, which I've been playing with a lot too. I can go from sun up until sundown, and I do that now that the weather's nice many days of the week. And it's because I do. I can because I do, therefore I can. Those who can't usually don't. Those who can't usually can't because they don't. All right. Now, I'm going to demonstrate for you this new state-of-the-art gas can. Let's see. Get you a closer view. There's a hole. Now, look at this. Take that off. Simply put it in here, and supposedly we just push this button. SSA-AAA-FFF-EEE-DEEY. Safety. Dance. Make sure it's all mixed up. I'm not infringing on any copyrights. Those are not my lyrics. This is not my song. Okay, that's not my song. You put it in here and you push the green button. Let's see how it works. Wow. Yeah, and as soon as you let off the green button, it stops instantly. Wow. I mean, a couple drips will come out. Oh my gosh. That is so much better than the old can. Guys, you got to get one of these cans. Look at that. It's full, and I just hold it there to make sure that, you know, the drippage comes all the way out, so I don't get anything on the bed of my truck to eat the paint or in the grass to kill it and end up in my pond where I got that big cat as long as my leg. Put that back on. Amazing. So the new gas can works great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fire this thing up, and we're going to test it out on this 80 feet tall white pine that fell. Now this is my biggest interest. How easy is it going to be to start this thing? It's brand new. First time it's had gas in it. You know, I've mentioned I used those pull-ins in the past, and I'm going to say, this is my honest opinion, those are good saws for what you pay for them. You can get them for about $150 for an 18-inch pull-in. They last me 3 years before they start getting kind of bogged down and ragged out. And again, I have been using them on stuff the equipment has not been made really designed to use. Thomas Fant, the tree guy, he told me, he said, if you're going to do anything like this and you want to do it safely and you want to be able to do it for a long time, he says you've got to learn to rely upon your equipment, depend upon your equipment. Something I've never done because of an athletic background. I was in the Army, airborne infantryman, all that stuff. I've always been very confident depending upon my body. But, you know, that's a good way to break your body. Now, I must stay active. I can't start paying people to do my lawn work for me. And if you do that, that's fine. Some people, that's just not their thing. Some people are so busy with careers and professions and jobs and other things, they just don't have time for it. I'm not judging you. I enjoy doing it and I have the time. So I'm going to continue to do that. But we've upped our ante here with our equipment. Let's see how starting her works. Husqvarna 455 Rancha. Boom. Okay, so I've moved over into the shade. I don't see him anywhere. So, I'll put in my ear pro. Listen, gotta be safe. Laying down to one of them. And leave this world behind. Any friend? No. So I'm gonna read the instructions right off the back of the saw. I'm gonna do it step by step. I read it at the, I hope you can hear me. I can't hear I got these things in. And I'll put the iPro on before I cut, but we're just going to simply try to start it up, do a couple cuts, see how it goes. I read the instructions at the store and it looks like it starts just like my pull-in. Now, one of the nicknames for those pull-ins is pull-on because you got to pull them over and over and over before they'll start. I'll tell you that after you've had it for a year and a half or so, that becomes truth. Have to pull my pull-in 10 times before it'll start. Now, once I get it running, it stays running. If I turn it off to move a log over or something, it'll start right back up. But getting it started is not always that easy. So we've got to push the chain guard forward. See, this is back. This is in the cutting position. But if I push it forward, that will, that's actually, yeah, the brake, the chain brake. That'll keep the chain from spinning when it starts so that we start it safely. Pull the choke back all the way. It says to prime it 5 times. There's a primer right here. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it says to push the decompression button, which is right here. Now my 18-inch pull-in didn't have that. All right, so we'll push that. Okay. And then it says to pull 5 times, but don't expect it to start. This is just a choke. Now, you know, you got to put your foot here for safety. Wow, it almost started. Now, listen, I know enough about chainsaws to know that once you get an almost start like that, there's no need to pull it 2 more times. I'm gonna go ahead and push this halfway in the choke. See the crazy lake action is what he's talking about. Okay, now, to turn that fast idle off, you simply hit the gas. Okay, now as you know, you want to let the engine warm up for at least 30 seconds before you start cutting. But wow, didn't it start smooth? So the directions say to pull 5 times with it on choke. But once I hear it turn over like that, I know it's going to start on the next pull. So it's easier on the starter and it's easier on the engine overall to just go ahead and let that choke up halfway in. And sure enough, it started on the very next pull. Hit the trigger, the gas trigger, to get the fast idle off. Let it sit like this for 30 seconds. Now, before we start cutting with it, I know what we can try. The engine should be warm now, right? Brand new Husqvarna 455 Rancher. This is the Rancher. Let's shut it off. And if this product is as good as everybody's been telling me for the last however many years I've been doing this, it should start right back up, right? Here's the off button. It's this little red switch. All right. So now, pull the choke out again just to disengage the off button, then push the choke halfway back in again. Actually, I'm going to push it all the way in. Shouldn't even need choke. Let's see if it starts right up now. Wow. Hit the gas trigger. Wow. Woo. Look what I finally broke down and bought. Already, I'm telling you, I can tell this was a good investment. Now, as active as I am, I'm telling you how active I am, how much stuff I cut off. This literally, my 4th grade son's favorite word, could and should be the last chainsaw I ever have to buy. As long as I take care of it. And I do take care of my stuff. I keep my place clean. I take care of my stuff. I'm 47. I should get another 40 years out of it. And when I'm 87, I intend to be out here cutting wood, splitting and stacking my own wood. That's how I roll. I never want to become as soft as I was. Okay, airborne infantryman, national level distance runner in my youth. Man, I was bad to the bone, right? When I got back from just sitting around on white sandy beaches, kicking back cold ones, discovered I couldn't rake leaves for 10 minutes without being in so much pain and so worn out, I was embarrassed. I never want to become that soft again. But at the same time, like Mr. Fant says, I'm going to lighten up a little bit and let the equipment do more of the work for me. So now, let's test this sucker out. Can you see this one? Come around this saw running. You're not getting my apple. It's delicious. And it's red. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the cuts off this limb. Not going to put it entirely through its paces yet. This is a test run. We're just going to see how it cuts. Okay? Safety. Now we're going to disengage the brake. Wow, look at that. Wow. What I will tell you is there is a, just from what little bit I just did right there, what you saw me do, and trust me, after I stop recording this video, I'm getting this sucker. I'm going to cut it up. And what I will tell you is I have no buyer's remorse. This was money well spent. $400 for the 20-inch Husqvarna 455 Rancher. When I made contact, had the chain going, made contact with the limb, I just let the weight of the saw, and it's a much heavier saw. This thing's twice as heavy as my pulling 18-incher. I just let the weight of the saw do the work and the power of the engine. And then when I got up towards the end, the thing was thicker. Here's another plus that I really like over my pullings. It's got dog teeth on it here. You see these teeth? When I got down there, that thing, these teeth just spiked into that limb and held the saw in place so it could make its cut. The pulling doesn't have this, so you'd bump up against the limbs and it would slide. It would slide around, and it just was never, this one just bit into it, held it in place, and just the weight of the saw carried it right through the cut. Excellent purchase, excellent saw, Husqvarna 455 Rancher, $400 saw, Tractor Supply at least. Wow, I can't wait to stop making this video and cut up this entire tree and finish this delicious red apple. Oh no. What's up, back up?